Hello, welcome to jQuery tutorial, chapter 5, jQuery ID selector, brought to you by Ankpro Technologies. My name is Harish. In this session, we are going to learn about the jQuery selectors, different type of selectors in jQuery, and mainly we are going to concentrate here in this session on one selector, that is ID selector. So first let us understand the jQuery selectors. Keep in mind this jQuery selector, it is the most important topic in jQuery, and this jQuery selector, what it is going to do is it allow us to select and manipulate the HTML elements very easily. So that's the importance of jQuery selectors. And how can you select the HTML element? Okay, it provides us the different selectors to do that work. The different selectors present here are the jQuery selectors allow you to select an HTML elements in the DOM by the ID, by the name, by the tag name, by the class name, or by attribute and attribute values, or by using the universal selector. So as of now, let me concentrate in this session like how do you select an element by the ID. So the jQuery ID selectors, behind the scenes, it uses the document.getElementById function to select an element. So if we know the ID of an element, then always we have to use the ID selector to select that element. So without wasting much time, let me show you how do I select an element by ID with the help of jQuery ID selector. So here I have a piece of example. You can observe very clearly. I have a piece of HTML here, and within the body tag I have a h1 element, and this h1 element is having a ID and the value is text change. So my objective here is first I need to find out the h1 element by the ID selector. Then what I need to do is I need to change the content present here. Okay, the content is what do you want. My objective is I need to identify this h1 element first, then I need to change the content present here with the help. Okay, how do I do that? It's very simple. So let me go to my Visual Studio, and here we have the same piece of code what I showed you there. Okay, so let me start. Okay, first what I need to do is first I need to identify this h1 element. So I'm going to use the ID selector here, because we are learning about the ID selector in this session. So how do I identify this h1 element? With the help of this ID. Once I identify this h1 element with the help of this ID, I need to change the text present here. So how can I do that? First I need to verify whether the document is completely loaded or not. So I'll use document.ready function. So here, okay, document.ready. Then what I need to do is I need to, once the DOM is completely loaded, my objective is I need to identify the h1 element with the help of ID. So I'll make use of the ID selector. We will represent the ID by hash. Okay, and the ID name is text change. Okay, once I identify that, I need to change the text present there. So what is the text I need to pass? Okay, I want to learn jQuery. Okay, this is the text or the content what I'm changing present in this h1 tag. So what I need to do is first, now I need to run this page, so I'll press Ctrl F5. This pushes the page to the browser, and my browser is Chrome as of now. So once this page is executed on the browser, you can identify within the h1 element, we will get the output as I need to learn jQuery. Why? Because we have identified, okay, we have identified this h1 element with the help of ID. Then what we are doing is with the help of this text function, we are changing the content present here from where do you want to go to I want to learn jQuery. So now when it pushes this page in the browser, you will find I want to learn jQuery. This is what the specialty of the ID selector. Okay, it identify the h1 element by ID, and it alters the content, and it manipulates the content present in it. And that's the beauty of the jQuery ID selector. So now let me go back. Here are some key points you have to keep in mind. HTML elements IDs must be unique on the page. So as we are talking about ID will be always unique in any fields. So here also in jQuery, the IDs whatever we use should be unique one. Okay, suppose if the jQuery ID selector returns only the first one if you have two or more elements with the same ID. So what I'll do right now is let me go back to my Visual Studio, sorry. And what I'll do right now, let me delete this, and let me delete this also. Let me show you something else apart from that. So I'll take input and it's text, yes. So I'll give ID to it named as, so let me take the button, it looks cool, the type is button, and let me assign the ID to it. ID is button1. So my objective is I need to identify this control, input control, with the ID button1, and I need to change the background color of it. So now as of now let me execute this page, and this is how it looks there. Okay, we have a button, so to that button we need to assign the value. That's the problem what I've not done there. So let me make that button as submit button. Let me go back and let me refresh, and this looks cool. Okay, now you can observe the button. So what I need to do is I need to change the background color of this button. How can I do that? I can do that with the help of CSS method present in jQuery. First I need to identify this control with the help of this ID. So dollar, okay, or you will represent the ID with the hash, and the ID name is button1. So what I've done right now, I identify that control with the ID button1. Now I need to change the okay background color. Okay, the color is okay, string, let me change it to red, yes. Now you control S, let me go back and let me refresh. Okay, here you can observe the background color of the button is changed to red. Okay, how did we do that? With the help of the CSS method present in jQuery, where I identified the button first, then we are applying the CSS method. To the CSS method we are passing that the background color should be red to the button. Suppose what I'll do is right now let me copy this and let me do Control F5. Now here I have two input controls of type button only and with the same ID. So now let me go back to my presentation. You can observe here jQuery ID selector returns only the first element. Okay, if you have two or more elements with the same ID, in that sense right now in my code what I'm doing, I'm having two buttons and with the same ID, and what I'm doing here is I'm writing a jQuery code, like first identify the button with this ID, that is button1, it will identify both of them, but the next point what it's going to do is it's going to apply the background color whether to both the controls or only the first one. Okay, what happens is first it will apply this background color red only to the first control which it identifies, not the second one. Why? Because if you have two or more controls with the same ID, what jQuery ID selector does is it returns only the first element. Here we have two controls, okay fine, but the first one is this, so it'll apply for this one only, not to the second one. Okay, it goes in order. Okay, who comes first, it'll apply for that particular control. Here as of now it is eating this one the first. Okay, so it will get the background color red and not the second one. Let me go back and let me refresh. You can observe this will be colored but not the second one, because it looks for the first element which is having the button ID. Okay, and then it applies there. So since ID is unique, it can't apply to the both of them, it should apply to the first one which it meets. Okay, so we're getting the first button of background color red, and that's the uniqueness of ID selector in jQuery. That's what we learned in this session, like how to identify an element with the ID. Okay, and that's for the day. Thank you for listening. Have a great day. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel Ankpro Training. You can also like our Facebook page visiting this URL. You can also follow us on Twitter. Further reference of our websites. We're on LinkedIn too. Last but not the least, please don't forget to give the feedback. Thank you.